been summoned here to answer the threat of Magog. Our criminal enterprise stands upon the brink of destruction. You will unite or you will fall.
You have my sword. And you have my bow.
And my axe.
Yeah, I believe you have my stapler.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Not to get too nerdy here, but what do you know about campaign finance law? Well, probably nothing, but let me tell you, these are some of the strictest laws in all of America. There are miles of regulations and rules and restrictions around the way that people can fund their presidential campaign. They want to keep things on the up and up and fair, sort of hold together our little republic here by a fragile thread. People that violate campaign laws go to prison. This is a very famous director named Dinesh D'Souza. He's a conservative commentator. He was sentenced to 5 years probation and made a felon because of his violation of the Federal Election Campaign Act. What do they end up finding? They found that he donated multiple times to candidates contributions of over $5,000. Now, $5,000, what are you talking about? Didn't Kamala Harris raise billions of dollars? Oh, yes, but Kamala Harris is a leftist and Dinesh D'Souza is of the right, and so Barack Obama's Justice Department went after him. Effectively, what happened is they pinned him on getting multiple donations to candidates. You can only donate one time and a limited amount to each federal candidate for an election. As an American. That's the rules. That's the way it is. Cry about it. Now, here's something that is quite unique about campaign finance law. We know that Republicans are quite generous people. Every single bit of polling finds that out. Republicans tie that church and give to charities. We know that left-wingers are not generous. They don't donate. They are not giving people, as it were. Which is interesting because they market themselves that. They virtue signal that, but they're not. So then why exactly can left-wing candidates outraise and out-fundraise all the time Republican candidates? Left-wingers also happen to be much poorer than people of the right, which make up the vast majority of the middle class. Well, what's going on here? How is this happening? Ladies and gentlemen, the fundraising behemoth known as ActBlue has been outed as a massive money laundering scam. Perhaps you've been following our reporting on this. Everybody from James O'Keefe to various independent reporters all around the country are finding the same thing, which is that ActBlue at scale is doing what Dinesh D'Souza was charged with. They're taking the names and addresses, identities of donors around the country, and they're funneling hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in small donations through those names. Oftentimes, of course, and actually quite regularly, without any of the individuals knowing any better. James O'Keefe went to homes of people who had donated tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, to the Democrat Party. And they do this in small donations to a bunch of different candidates. These are like working class, split level homes with people on subsistence. They're on like living off Social Security and they're like, I've never donated to these campaigns. What are you talking about? But it shows up in the paperwork like this. Here, this from somebody who's been a friend of the show and somebody who we've worked with a lot with some of the flooding in North Carolina and so on. His name's Matthew Van Swol. He is an independent reporter and he was following this ActBlue news because Donald Trump is now ordering an investigation into them. He said, I went ahead and checked my name and address. Can somebody explain to me how under my name and address, ActBlue candidates in Kansas got donations? Now, the reason I'm using this, and there are a lot of examples of this, but the reason I'm using Matt Van Swol is because we know him. He has a lot of followers. He's a credentialed individual. And he just found fraud in his name under ActBlue. The earmarks and everything. So how the hell does that happen? They run massive donor fraudulent campaigns through unsuspecting Americans. Where's the money come from? USAID, Chinese billionaires, oligarchs across the world. Who knows? Where's it go? Democrats, always Democrats. This is huge. Trump is set to sign a memorandum targeting foreign contributions to American elections. AG Pam Bondi is reportedly involved in the crackdown on ActBlue. ActBlue is bracing for this action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we heard, if you follow the breadcrumbs, we heard Tulsi Gabbard say this in the White House just the other day.
I've got a long list of things that we're investigating. We have the best of the best going after this. Election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
Tulsi Gabbard saying that she has evidence of foreign interference in our elections. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the official memo from President Trump. Investigation into unlawful straw donor and foreign contributions to American elections. This is the subject. Federal law strictly prohibits making political contributions in the name of another person, as well as contributions to foreign nationals. Notwithstanding, these laws are designed to protect American democracy. Press reports and investigations by congressional committees have generated extremely troubling evidence of an online fundraising platforms that have been willing to participants in a scheme to launder excessive prohibited contributions to political candidates and committee. He goes through and notes how this works and then names ActBlue. A recent House representative investigation revealed that a platform named ActBlue in recent years directed at least 22 significant fraud campaigns, nearly half of which of a foreign nexus. During a 30-day window during the 2024 campaign, the platform detected 237 donations from a foreign IP address using prepaid cards, indicating that it was activity that remains a pressing concern. The activity undermined the integrity of the electoral process. I therefore direct my Attorney General, in consultation with the Treasury Secretary, to use every lawful authority to go crack this case and enforce the law. He wants Pam Bondi to get back with him on this. This is something that is sending ActBlue into absolute horror. This is the New York Times writing up that ActBlue is in total and complete meltdown right now. At least 7 senior officials have left the group, sending off deep concerns future as it confronts scrutiny from congressional Republicans. The last remaining lawyer at ActBlue has been locked out of his email and computer after sending a warning that there should be no whistleblowers inside of the organization. What does that mean? Why would there be such an exodus from ActBlue? Like, wouldn't you consider this to be a fundraising juggernaut opportunity? Like, this is the second Trump term. There's plenty of stuff to fund. There's plenty of anger to fundraise off of. Yikes. The exodus has set off deep concerns about ActBlue's future. Last week, 2 unions representing the group's workers sent a blistering letter to ActBlue's board of directors that listed the 7 officials who had left. The letter describes an alarming pattern of departures, eroding our confidence in the stability of the organization. ActBlue is the aircraft carrier inside of the Democrat fleet. The fleet can't sail without it. It can't be protected. If ActBlue goes down, the party is over, effectively. Ladies and gentlemen, it will take a generation to rebuild some type of legal fundraising structure, and they probably won't be able to raise any money when they do it because it won't be set up for fraud like ActBlue is. Time and time again. They found, for instance, fraud with Jasmine Crockett. Someone donating 57 different times who never donated to Jasmine Crockett. You just go interview these people and you can tell. You can see that the fraud is clear, evident. Ladies and gentlemen, Fox News reporting. Let's end ActBlue, okay? Let me know what you think in the comment section.
Meanwhile, President Trump is directing the Justice Department to investigate ActBlue. This is a Democratic donation platform, and the focus as the allegations about illegal straw donors and foreign contributions. Mark Meredith is live in Washington with more. This has been brewing for a while, Mark. What do we need to know?
Dana, for years, you're right about this, but this is a big development. The White House is directing the Attorney General to investigate the Democratic Party's top fundraising platform. It's called ActBlue, and the president says he wants to know if foreign money is being donated to the group and then utilized to sway elections. Democrats are calling this probe a dangerous abuse of power. ActBlue is an enormous operation in Democratic politics. It's raised more than $16 billion since 2004. You may have seen the text pop up from candidates saying, please donate, go to the ActBlue website. Republicans use something similar called Win Red. There was a new memo signed on Thursday directing the Attorney General to investigate if foreign foreign nationals are using the ActBlue platform to bypass campaign finance laws. Trump wants a report out in 6 months. Republicans who've been looking to this for years up on the Hill say a formal federal investigation is long overdue.
We know nefarious countries that don't have the United States interests at heart are looking for ways to influence and impact U.S. policy. Making sure that we're closing the door to that as it relates to campaign finance and as it relates to actually voting in U.S. elections is absolutely essential.
ActBlue says it's ready to defend itself, including through the courts. Overnight, the new chairman of the Democratic National Committee released a blistering statement accusing Trump of trying to silence his opposition. Ken Mort writing, Trump is trying to block lawful grassroots donations from supporters, giving just $5 or $10 to candidates who oppose him, while further empowering the corrupt billionaires who already control his administration. And Danny, you'll love this. This controversy could end up helping ActBlue, at least in the short term. The website is now raising money off the investigation, encouraging people to donate to ActBlue, mentioning it's a Trump target. It's right there on their front page.
Yeah, probably nothing better than to fuel those donations for the moment. Thank you.